Okay. So once you've cleared all of the errors, now you have to review the reports, right? So there are specific reports that you need to review and certify for end of year one. You have in orange the aggregate reports. These are the ones that have those check marks, red X's in the certification page, while the blue ones are your supporting documents or reports. So at the minimum, you only have to review your aggregate reports. Once you've reviewed all four, then CalPads will then show all of the X's as greens, and then you should be able to check the button here that you certify or approve these reports and sign your life away, and then you should be able to lay approve it, and you're done. You're certified, right? But that's not the way to do it. You have to look at all of these aggregate reports and then the supporting reports to make sure that everything is accurate. So let's discuss how to interpret these reports. So you have here report 3.9, which leads to 10, 311, and this essentially provides you all of the departmentalized courses that you've reported and some aggregates based on each report, what each report reflects, and then of course you have your student list. Now you have report 3.14 and 15, which lists your CTE non-completer participants. So these are yours who completed a CTE course. It could be an intro course, it could be a concentrator course, it could even be a capstone course. However, since you did not submit an SCTE record showing them as a completer, they then are funneled into the 314, 315 report. Now, 319 and 320, these are your CTE pathway completers. So the students in this report fulfills all three requirements to be included on the report. You have your CRSC, your SCSC, and then of course the CTE showing that they completed the capstone course. Then you have report 18.1, which provides you a count of the work-based learning of students who went through the work-based learning program, and it's counted based on the different case scenarios. Then you have your student list. Then you have your education option course completion. These are a count of students who are in some education option buckets that I will discuss in just a few minutes. So let's move to each of the reports. So report 3.9 reflects the number of departmentalized course sections for each course within a content area. So you have here the counts of those students completing a specific state course code, and it's classified under each content area. And then you also have a column for course content area subcategory. So this is for those language state course codes that you need to subcategorize based on the specific language or specific subcategory of dance or PE that they are in. Okay, and then it also reflects the departmentalized course standard grade level range, and of course the local course ID that that course was reported in. So it's broken down into the number of males, females, non-binary, so broken down into genders as well. So if you want to interpret this report, you can go to CalPAS user manual, go to reports, snapshot report, and then go to end of year one. So the report mapping guide is laid out similar to your certification page. So you have your aggregate and your supporting reports. So each mapping guide provides you description of those reports and the selection or the basic criteria how students are included in these categories. It also provides you the possible filters you could use, as well as all of the columns and how the data was derived for those specific columns. So that's for report 3.9. And by the way, I'm sorry. So this stuff here, content area, it's derived from a predetermined classification that is reflected here in the valid code combinations document. So let's go back here. See how you have content area. That's basically this part here. So let's say if this one is 9130, 9130 here. Let's remove all of the filters and use 9130. So you'll see that the content area is world language, right? So that's why it is categorized as should be world language. So I guess this is an old report. So this should be a world language or foreign languages, but that's what the category it will be counted in. Then if you have a CTE course, then of course it would be under CTE. So the content area is just essentially a remnant of the node NCLB reporting before, where each of these courses are categorized into different content areas. And then of course you have your subcategory. So let's say language, right? 9150. The subcategory will not be included here. You have to go into the content subcategory code and use 9100. Wrong. Is the one. Oh, 9130. 9130. So now you have your world languages, and then you have a specific content area subcategory name. And so that's where the column is derived from. So you just using this report, one report as an example, there are ways to be able to know and what specific category this state course code could be in. So you just have to use the valid code combinations, and it is also specified here the different in the actual field what document to look at if you go into the report mapping guide. Okay? Moving on, so report 3.10 shows you the details of the completed local courses, and there's more details in terms of the specific courses, right? You have here your local course ID. If the course is taught by a high quality CTE staff member, okay. So then you also have here the charter local assignment, and then you have here students completing courses, so males, females, non-binary. So all of those are provided in here. Okay. So another thing that you could consider when reviewing CTE data, or especially for and also college courses, is that if you run report 3.10, you would be able to see the courses that are operated or taught by CTE credentialed staff. So this is important if you have CTE, if you have a school that is funded by or Carl Perkins that requires you to have CTE credentialed teachers teaching CTE courses. So to be able to see the list of that of courses and check if all of the courses are accounted for and taught by a CTE credentialed teacher, you can filter the CTE course. You can also filter if a course is a CTE course that is a college course. So you can do that here. Or this is just one subgroup, right? Now, if you want to have a to determine just the state course codes providing college courses, then you can filter based on course, state course code, the specific state course codes for, let's say, military science or just the college credit courses. Okay? 3.11. 3.11 is a report that lists all of the students in each of the completed course sections by school with the final completion grades. It also provides you the Carnegie units. It also provides you the final grades, the credits earned, and the credits attempted. So this report reflects whatever you submitted in your SCSC file, reflecting the student's course completion record. Okay, let's move on to report 3.14. 3.14 is your CTE non-completer participants counts. Essentially, these are your CTE participants who does not have an SCTE record reported in CalPEDS, right? These are your CTE completers with an intro, anyone who completed an intro course, a concentrator course, or capstone course, but is not flagged CTE completer, maybe because they just attended, just enrolled in that course as a as an extra course, or they are in a concentrator course. So something to be aware of is that for 3.14, by default, this report will not reflect by default courses and counts of courses that the not flagged as a CTE, high quality CTE course. So if a course is a N, the high quality CTE course, high quality CTE course indicator in the course is flagged as N, when you run this report by default, it will not reflect those counts. However, if you change the filter from the default to all, then of course it will account for all of those courses regardless if the course was taught by a high quality CTE teacher or not. So this report counts all of your CTE completers who not CTE completers but CTE non-completer participants, and then based on gender, and then if those participants are in different student subgroups, SPED, and if they meet your economically disadvantaged subgroup, or if they are single parents, or EL, or foster youth, tribal foster youth, homeless, and armed forces family member. Again, when reviewing this, as I've mentioned, you have to filter this part here, which is the Perkins CTEG funding. Okay, so by default, it just only shows Y. So if you want to look at all of your CTE courses, then you have to mark this all, or Y and N. Okay? Okay. So for this report, it provides you the CTE industry sector. It also, again, as I've mentioned, provides the gender and all of the subgroups that each student, the total students who are in these subgroups. So some of the CTE core indicators, as I've mentioned, are your students with disabilities, and then you have your economically disadvantaged subgroup, which is further broken down into students who qualify based on having free meal program records, migrant, homeless, direct cert was equal to Y, or was a foster student match. And then for single parents, these are based on program record 162. So if you have a student who is pregnant or parenting, for parenting, it could either be a father or a mother. You may report program 162 and they will be included on that specific subgroup. And for non-traditional gender, these are essentially gender less commonly associated with the field. So for CTE courses, more often than not, women are not won't enroll in these CTE courses, right? Because this is more predominantly or previously determined to be more predisposed to, I mean, students who are male. So this non-traditional gender column here can also be referred back to the valid code combinations document. So if you go to the course group master combos, you have this column here, CTE non-traditional gender. Okay, so let's look at this the course. See how you have male, female. So females are non-traditional. So that's essentially included or accounted for on that report. So for report 3.15, this is just your student list. Again, this just lists all of the students who completed a CTE course, regardless if they are in a pathway or not. Then 3.16 is your education option course completion. So it just counts the students who completed course completion section and is associated to an AVID course or in a California Partnership Academy program, or they were flagged IB courses or independent study courses or in distant learning. So what this derives is that if you submitted a CRSC file and flagged the course either independent study or distance learning, or if the course is flagged as an IB course, then the total number of students who completed that specific course are accounted for in this report. 3.19 and 3.20 reflects the actual, oh, I have 4 minutes left, actual reports that for CTE completers. So you have here the same industry sector that a completer would be in. So you count the number of CTE completers and they're basically in the different categories. So now the non-traditional course enrollment, this is basically the gender thing, right? If there are women who are enrolled in a course that is predominantly should be a male, expected to have male, then they will be counted in this column. Then of course, you have your list, student list, and the different subgroups that they are in. And then of course, if the course that they were in were taught by a high quality CTE course. And then work-based learning 18.1 and 18.2 just reflects the records that you submitted through the WBLR courses. It students in internships, student-led enterprise, and simulated work-based learning. Then it also just counts and puts into buckets the different type of work-based learning that the student was participating in. Then, of course, you have here the detailed list. You have demographic-based information, synth-based information, and all the work-based learning types that they participated in, and if each of these have internship sponsored indicator Y or certificated supervisor indicator is Y or N. Okay? It also indicates if the number of hours for work-based learning hours.